10. The visitor at 3 a.m. This case took place at the Finocchieto Sanatorium, a well-known private hospital in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and it was captured by the building's own security camera. At first, it looks like an ordinary night shift. A single guard is sitting at his desk at 3 in the morning. Nobody else is around. Then the automatic sliding glass door behind him opens on its own. He stands up. And this is where it stops looking like a glitch. He turns toward the empty doorway and starts interacting with someone, the way you would greet a person who just walked in. He begins filling out paperwork at the desk. He gestures down the hallway, as if he's guiding a visitor toward one of the rooms, and then he fetches a wheelchair and offers it, the way you would for a patient who can't quite manage the walk on their own. There's just one problem. The camera shows no one there. Not a shadow, not a reflection, nothing. The door opening by itself, you could explain away in a second. A faulty sensor, a draft, a moth crossing the beam. But a trained security guard standing up in the middle of the night to check someone in, sign them through, and wheel a chair out for them, when there is no one to check in, that's the part that stays with people. When the footage got out, it split the room. Some were convinced he was quietly guiding a spirit toward its room, going through the motions out of habit or out of instinct. Others thought he was simply exhausted, running on autopilot, reacting to a sensor that had glitched, and filling in the rest without ever realizing it. He never really explained what he thought he was doing that night, and whoever he was checking in never once appeared on camera. 9. The balloon in the corridor. This next one was filmed late at night by hospital staff at the Victor J. Villela Children's Hospital in the city of Rosario, Argentina, and it went viral for a reason. It starts with something that shouldn't frighten anyone at all. A single red balloon, drifting slowly down a long, empty corridor, hovering just above the floor. Except no one is holding it. And it doesn't roll along in a straight line the way a balloon caught in a draft would. It travels down the hallway with what looks like purpose. As the staff film it and whisper to each other in Spanish, one of them brings up something that changes the whole feeling of the clip. A young patient in a nearby bed had recently complained that something she couldn't see had touched and squeezed her legs. So now the balloon carries a little more weight. It's drifting through a ward where a child had already said she wasn't alone. Then it reaches the staff, and instead of stopping or bumping to a halt, it follows them, turning the corner into the very room they've backed into. That's the moment the nervous laughter stops, and they hurry deeper inside. When it hit the internet, the comments split straight down the middle. Some were certain it was the ghost of a child, drifting around and playing the way a child would, and plenty of them just typed one word: Pennywise. Others went straight for the ordinary explanation. The hospital's air conditioning pushing a nearly weightless balloon along on the air currents, and one sharp-eyed viewer swore they could make out a little weight tag on the end of the string. There was even a commenter claiming to be staff, who said the girl who'd been touched was in room 7. So which is it? A child nobody can see, or a draft and a party balloon? Years later, people still haven't agreed. 8. The gurney that vanished. This one comes from an abandoned hospital wing in Chhattisgarh, India, filmed on a phone by someone exploring the empty building. There's no music and no talking. It runs entirely on silence and the look of the place, peeling walls, a long green-tinted corridor, decaying clinical rooms that haven't been used in years. Then the camera settles on something down the hall. A single-wheeled gurney, a medical stretcher, parked completely alone in the middle of the floor near a staircase. The camera drifts up to the ceiling and along the walls for a moment, a second or two, no more. And when it swings back down to that same spot, the gurney is gone. The corridor is empty. No sound of wheels rolling away. No one in the frame who could have moved it. Just the bare floor where a heavy metal cart had been sitting, a heartbeat before. The video's been floating around since 2016, and here the crowd leaned the opposite way you might expect. Most people watching weren't scared at all. They were impressed. They took it as a clever, well-made piece of editing and tipped their hats to whoever pulled it off. And they may well be right, but if it is a trick, it's a clean one, because a stretcher that heavy doesn't roll itself out of frame in total silence in the 2 seconds your back is turned. Seven. It's moving.
Es que te estoy enfocando a las boobies.
This clip was recorded on a phone inside a medical facility in Guadalajara, Mexico. And what sells it is how normally it starts. A worker in blue scrubs and a surgical cap is joking around in a hallway, smiling, completely at ease. Then, mid-sentence, his whole face drops. In Spanish, he breaks off and mutters, "No way, something happened."
Ah, no mames.
¿Qué?
Pasó algo.
¿Qué pasó? No mames.
A ver, ven. No mames, pasó algo, te lo juro que pasó algo,
¡Se mueve, se mueve!
He swings the camera toward a small window set into a pair of double doors, looking through into what appears to be an empty operating room. And on the other side of the glass, an IV stand is rolling across the floor, all on its own. It's moving, he says, it's moving. There is no one on that side of the doors. No one pushing it, no one standing near it. You can hear his voice climb. He doesn't stay to work it out. He says he's leaving, and the recording cuts.
Vete a la verga.
Yo no voy.
No mames.
So the whole thing rests on two questions the footage can't answer for you. Were those doors actually locked? And was that floor completely level? A cart on worn wheels can absolutely drift on a slope. But if that room was sealed and the floor was flat, then nothing easy explains what set it rolling. He filmed it, he ran, and he left the rest of us to argue about it. 6. The saloon ward. This next one had a lot of people genuinely shaken when it went around, and you'll see why. It's shot like a shaky phone video, someone walking down a dim clinical hospital hallway at night until they reach a door marked the saloon ward. And what's on the other side is chaos. A patient is on a bed in critical condition, monitors going, staff scrambling to keep them alive. And right there at the bedside, a full argument is breaking out. Family members and doctors, and what looks like some hidden benefactor, all going at each other while the patient crashes in front of them. It plays exactly like real, raw hospital footage, the kind that drops your stomach. Except it isn't. Look at where it came from, and the account is a drama page. This is a scene from a scripted medical series. Actors, props, a written bedside blow-up, shot to look like a bystander just happened to catch it. And a lot of people didn't clock that. They passed it around as the real thing. So why put it in at all? Because it fooled so many people so completely, and that is its own kind of unsettling. In a feed full of clips that look exactly like this one, the scariest part might be how hard it has gotten to tell what actually happened from what somebody wrote, cast, and staged to look like it did. 5. Did you see that? This next one is a breather, and honestly the personality is the whole draw. A security guard who posts under the name Jay Breezy shares CCTV footage from a hospital lobby where he was working a shift. Out of the corner of his eye, over near a dark rug on the floor, he catches something move across the room.
Look at I saw that. I saw that. See, I saw that.
He gets up to figure out what it was. He glances at his cat, tells himself out loud to calm down, and when he still can't find anything, he turns to his own camera, caught somewhere between shaken and laughing at himself, and does the most human thing imaginable. He asks us whether we saw it too. Y'all see that? Y'all saw that, right? I'm telling you.
And I'm like, and then it disappeared over there by the desk. And I'm like, okay.
What makes this one work isn't the shape on the footage, which is faint at best. It's him. He's not performing a haunting or building a story. He's just a guy on a night shift who caught something in the corner of his eye and needed someone, anyone, to confirm his eyes weren't lying to him. And that reaction lands harder than any ghost.
So I looked at the camera. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna calm down. So I wanted to tell the camera, y'all see that?
4. The Red Door. Two security guards are walking the basement corridor of a hospital in Brazil, filming on a phone, talking quietly to each other in Portuguese. The hallway ahead of them is pitch black, and down at the far end of it, a heavy red door is slamming shut and swinging open again, over and over on its own. Directly above it, a single fluorescent light is flickering violently, on and off, right in time with the banging. They edge toward it, and the moment they get within a few feet, everything stops at once. The door goes still. The light overhead cuts out completely, dropping that end of the hall into total darkness. The guard raises his flashlight to the red door, which turns out to be a wall-mounted fire hydrant cabinet, and pulls it open to look inside. There's nothing there, just bare piping. He shuts it, opens it a second time to be sure, and stares off down the empty corridor. So what was slamming a fire cabinet hard enough to echo through an entire basement, keeping time with a flickering light, only to stop dead the instant someone got close and open up on nothing at all? Sometimes the scariest part isn't what you find behind the door. It's finding out there was never anything behind it. Three, the woman at the end of the hall. This one's spread across TikTok as night shift footage from an empty hospital ward, and it's built from the ground up to make your skin crawl. Dim, deserted hallways, not a soul around. As the camera eases down the corridor, a pale figure appears at the far end. A woman, standing perfectly still, with long dark hair hanging straight down over her face. Then she breaks. Her body jerks into a sudden, stuttering, unnatural movement, the exact kind you've seen in Japanese horror films. There and gone in a frame or two. The whole clip is shot through heavy grain with the exposure crushed right down, which builds the dread beautifully. It also, very conveniently, hides the seams. And in most versions making the rounds, someone has dropped a jump scare sting right on the twitch. Some people are still sure it's real. Others will point you to the exact spot where they think the effect was stitched in. And the truth is, it's designed to sit right there in the middle, in the gap where you can't quite prove it either way. That uncertainty is the entire point, and it's why the clip keeps getting reposted. But if you're watching it alone at night, knowing it's probably staged helps a lot less than you'd hope. Two, the ghost nurse. This next one doesn't hide what it is, and it doesn't need to. A line of text drops on screen right away. Ghost nurse in haunted hospital. The camera moves through a pitch-black hospital room lit only by the filmer's flashlight. His breathing fast and loud, pushing past empty beds and privacy curtains. Korean subtitles run along the bottom, telling a story. He'd been sick, he woke up, and he found the entire hospital deserted.
어디였어요?
원래 병원에 계셨던 거세요?
네, 저 원래 몸이 안 좋아서.
He steps out into a long, abandoned corridor, lined with waiting chairs and old medical equipment, then into another dark room with more empty beds and an IV bag still hanging full of fluid. His flashlight sweeps the floor and catches something under a gurney, an orange garment and a syringe. A noise cracks down the hall, and he whips around. Far down the corridor, a figure in blue scrubs is standing near someone crumpled on the floor, and then the one on the floor moves. They fold at an impossible angle and start crawling toward the camera. Fast, wrong, picking up speed. He screams, throws himself backward into a side room, and slams the door as the whole thing cuts to black.
저기요! 저기요!
Now, this one is clearly produced, and produced well. The lighting, the pacing, and that awful crawl all timed for maximum damage. But that's the strange thing about a scare built this carefully. Knowing it's fake does almost nothing for you at 3 in the morning, once your brain has already watched the thing crawl.
근데 지금 사람들이 다 없어졌어요.
병원 어디 간 거예요?
저도 방금 깼어요. 원래 병원에 계셨어요?
1. The night shift. Our final clip presents itself as simulated security footage from a place called Mercy General Hospital, on a late-night shift. 2 nurses in blue scrubs are working at the front desk, focused on their screens. And in the corridor behind them, a faint, translucent figure moves quickly across the hall, from left to right. A narrator leans in over the top, calling it a dark figure that ran past them, wondering aloud whether it might be the spirit of a patient who died there. And that's exactly why this one goes last instead of first. There's no scream. There's no jump and no reveal. And the 2 people closest to it never react at all. They don't even look up. It's the quietest clip in the whole video. And in its own way, that's what makes it stay with you. Because a hospital is one of the few places built to be watched around the clock. Staffed all night, cameras always running, never fully dark, and never fully empty. And still, night after night, those cameras keep catching something slipping through the halls that nobody standing right there ever seems to notice. So those are the cases. Some of them have an easy answer sitting right there. Some of them really don't. Let me know down in the comments which one you couldn't explain away. And if you're not ready to leave just yet, go ahead and click the video on your screen right now.